there still plans for community gateway / staking? Gilbert not directly responded, but replied in the message after that. But we've kept working on the idea in the background. So now, after getting regulatory and legal clarity, we will be introducing different forms of staking and rewards to encourage even more participation on Overledger platform and ecosystem. Ladies, gentlemen, comrades, stakers, welcome to episode 14 of the Quamfy Show. Today is Monday. We are a day early. It is the 9th of September 2024. And we had a pretty interesting last couple of weeks. As most of you guys will know, there was an update to the terms of service. I posted that on my X account at Jarno Quamfy Show. But make sure to follow as well as at the Quamfy Show. We went through the terms of service, found some very interesting things. We're going to dive into that first. Then, last Saturday, Gilbert joined the main Quant channel for the first time in like 2 years. I was lucky enough to be one of the people at the door and answered some of his questions. Some other people chimed in, and together we got some very nice little couple of tidbits that were beyond bullish, and were actually so bullish that they arguably had a significant effect on price, which is really cool to say the least. So we'll be diving into that as well. Beyond that, there is a new website from the Quant team. We're going to dive into that as well. And afterwards, there were some other insights, and if we have any time left, that will be addressed too. So it's going to be a pretty full show. We're going to make an attempt to keep this under an hour and 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'm super excited. Everything got so much more clear and so much more exciting. It's a great time to be alive. And it's also great to have Tim on my left again.
Yeah. It's great to have you on my left again after this summer. I feel like it was a good thing that we kind of stopped recording this summer because there wasn't really that much to do in general in the markets. And the few things that happened can be summarized in this show, and that's what we will be doing. I just mainly used this past summer to move between, well, my parents' house and my new place. And I'll finish all the stuff that had to be done, doing painting, and you know what you're going to do if you move into a new house. And I just used the summer kind of practically, didn't really have any time off, just worked all summer and kept my eyes on the market, but there wasn't really that much to pay attention to. I feel like everything was kind of slumping and there wasn't that much trading volume going on. But some things happened, and I think that is really good stuff. That kind of was like a pre-event to what is happening right now, and they did it all in the background. And we kind of saw it. It was like, okay, this might build up to something, and I feel like momentum is gaining again in general. So it's a really good time to be back. We're just in time with the first episode, if that makes any sense what I'm saying right now.
Yeah,
if you didn't pay any attention this summer, you would have no clue what I'm talking about, but you'll find out after this episode.
No, I agree. I think summer is just hot trash when it comes to crypto generally, right?
Yeah,
most people are quote unquote young people, and we're all just living our lives. Market slump at the BTC halving. We know historically that the period in between is always shit.
It's the boring zone.
Yeah, and I have so much fun because there's always a bunch of people that keep posting memes how shit this this bull run is and this Bitcoin halving and blah 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 blah. Everybody with the negative sentiment and all that. So I really enjoyed not needing to make a Quamfy show for 2 months.
Yeah.
I actually feel recharged and motivated again to get back at it. And yeah, let's just do this. So to kick it off, there was a change to the terms of service, and I call it the terms of service, but it is the terms and conditions on the Quant website. Link to that is in the description, right below the BYBIT link. We're sponsored by BYBIT, as you can see. You can get some extra bonus starting cash if you use our link and start using BYBIT. They have QNT. It's a super intuitive platform, and you're helping out the show a great deal by using that link to sign up. You get a 30-day discount. I think it's 10% on your trading fees, as well as a bonus if you deposit 100 euros or dollars within 7 days, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so if you go down there, you can find all the links to everything, as well as timestamps for all the other topics in case you want to skip ahead. I wouldn't, you're going to miss out. Anyway, the terms of service, terms and conditions, that is a legal document, right? And it is posted on their website. Almost every company you ever engage with, whenever you buy something or make use of a service or whatnot, they will always have a terms of service document or terms and conditions. That is a legal document. They need to abide by it. You need to abide by it, and it protects everybody in the relationship or in the transaction. I wrote that on my X, and it kind of looks like this. It looks exactly like this. Can you see my screen, Tim?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Yeah. So at Jarno Quamfy Show, I went through the entire document, noticed a couple of things I found interesting. Right. The first one is also the most obscure one, which I still don't really have an answer to. Somebody responded in the comments. Still didn't make all that much sense to me. But that's the word trader in quotation marks. And it is named separately from the authorized user. Do with that what you will. Let me know in the comments if you have any insights. And let me know if you're like a legal person that can speak with a certain degree of authority on that. The second part was that gateways are named separately, right? So usually you see the API gateways and so on. In this case, it was named separately, which is pretty cool because that implies that they're a separate entity. More on that later. Yeah, also they talk about third parties, ecosystem, and the third party is not Quant because Quant were the only ones running gateways of late. This document gives now room for other entities to also engage in gateway operating. And then the third point on the transactions, gateways are named separately from third-party applications. Again, meaning that this could also be something separate. So not only run by other people, right? And this was just linguistics analytics on my part, right? Just a little bit of interpretation and speculation, if you will. And then you got the transaction fees. And then there was a quote which I paraphrased, right? That's what the curly whatever things. And that came down to customers responsible for paying directly all other network fees, right? Quant has no control over these fees. We all know that customers pay Quant for the privilege and the service of Overledger Network, Overledger Platform. But this explicitly states that there will be other fees and they need to be paid directly, and that Quant has no control over those, right? So my conclusions were, and this was a while back. When was that? August 16th? Yeah. So roughly 3 weeks ago. Nothing has changed. How RCGs are positioned and operate within the network since 2020. And all the things I said before, right? So they're a separate thing. Others in Quant can run a gateway. They require fees and other payments, and they need to pay directly. Quant has no control over them. And that's pretty bullish. And here you can see on my X all the screenshots pertaining to that. So that seemed like speculation at that time. Kinda, right? Some creative thinking. Even I was skeptical when I wrote this. Not gonna lie. What were your thoughts, Tim, when you saw this?
Yeah, I think I've said this in the Dutch show as well last week, and it kind of reaffirms what we already knew, and it's kind of putting things like on paper, if that makes any sense, because there's been quite some speculation, especially since some recent trends that we have seen, or actually not recent, they've been from quite some years ago, where they suddenly kind of deleted the white paper from their websites, changed their marketing, changed things around on the website, deleted their YouTube channel. Things were in motion and changing, and I think it's really nice to just have this document, or at least this page on the internet where everything is stated again, because this is kind of a legal framework from which we can work again. And I think they didn't do this randomly. It really is a result of, well, I think, a changing regulatory landscape. Things are kind of crystallizing more and more all over the world. Like, regulators are finally coming to their senses in terms of what is what we are doing, what is a crypto, what is a token. You know what I mean, right? We've have had all these legal battles everywhere, and everything is kind of crystallizing. And for us, it also means that the position of Overledger in Quant is getting more and more clear, because, well, what you didn't touch upon yet is, for example, in Switzerland, they also kind of changed their legal structure, I think, by changing it from Quant Network AG, something like that, into Quant Services, and then not even Quant Services, but QNT Services.
Yeah.
And they did it in the canton of Zug, which is like the blockchain valley of Switzerland. And yeah, you can really see them kind of repositioning themselves in this legal landscape. And that's a great thing. But I didn't really think too much of it yet. It was more of a reaffirmation of what we already knew, and putting things more sharply and more clear.
Exactly.
But it's still kind of fake in legal language. So you cannot really, how do I say, you cannot really deduct anything from it specifically, because it's all still legal language.
Yeah, it could just be checking boxes and just being kind of future proof, or just God knows what else.
That's future proofing. That's how we'd call it.
Exactly. But then Saturday came, and
that was a completely unexpected turn of events on Saturday.
Yeah. So Saturday, 2:30 CET, Gilbert came into chat, and he asked, and I'm just going to read this. Hello all, wanted to see if the person with the following fake accounts. Oh, I should do my British accent. Hello all, wanted to see if the person with the following fake accounts on LinkedIn is here. And then he asks for 3 names. Apparently, they're very upset that I haven't used Telegram or X for a while, and has spent hours posting his same comments on 100 different LinkedIn posts lately. Yeah, so that was the question. With which he entered the chat. $1 Pizza jumped on. Hello, I think if they are, they wouldn't admit it. Haha, not sure if you can block people from a business page on LinkedIn, but that's probably the best idea. Keep up the good work. Then Gilbert responded, thank you, just wanted to speak to them. When I read this, at first, I also thought it was a fake account. Yes, it's a Telegram Premium, and yes, it is Gilbert Verdian. But I needed to click on his profile and see if it was at G Verdian, one word, no capitalized letters, because that's the only real one, and check back the history, and it was indeed him. My response was, my guess is that the person that was renting in the developer group last week could be the same individual. Admin can check the history. So there were a couple of people last couple of weeks, just throwing shit around and talking about suing Gilbert and saying that he misled the community, made false statements, promoted the product, whilst doing that with the only intention to drive up price so he could sell more tokens himself, and so on, which could potentially be a criminal offense. But yeah, there was absolutely no proof for that. But he was also posting that on LinkedIn, and like the Gilbert said, like 100 different LinkedIn posts, which is just pure obnoxious, defamatory. And it's even I did some googling. It could be called character assassination, which is actually punishable, but it does a lot of damage. So we tried to figure out who did that and where. I don't believe we found them. I'm not that many in developer, but you can actually look at the history and see what got deleted. Don't know if they did that, but yeah. So the conversation continued. Thank you, Jarno. Really trying to understand why they are behaving this way and think that is okay. I responded, we all do. He made similar threats and claims about you scamming us in there. That was my response to the developer group. And then Gilbert responded with, yes, haven't been on X Twitter for a while now. When I joined Twitter in 2009, it grew into a nice community of ideas and discussions. Ever since Elon bought it, it really gone downhill. For Telegram, do look at it every now and again, but don't use it that much personally. And Gilbert then asked me, can you help clarify what they meant exactly? So I summarized, they stated that you, Quant Network, made promises about remote connected gateways and staking, but never delivered. This, according to them, was malicious and fraudulent. And I'm obviously paraphrasing here. Then Gilbert responded, thank you, Jarno, for helping with this. I mean, we've met in person at Cybos and do know each other. That was really cool because I went to Cybos back when I was with Galileo. I did meet Gilbert, had a really cool conversation. And this is also a nice little bit of evidence that this is actually the real Gilbert.
You can make that up. Not everyone knew.
No, you cannot make that up. I don't think that scammers do their research that well, if the handle was even not enough evidence. Yeah, so this pretty cool. I replied that I really enjoyed that. Wish I could be of more help. Muzzy came in. Great to see you, GV. True Quam believers know where we are headed. This is not really, no disrespect, need to read all this up. I spoke here also about character assassination. Gilbert responded to they stated the Yukon network made promises, and he replied with, so yes, the concept of RCGs was explored and tested back then. We had live testing and people helped run those tests to learn from it. It was paused due to regulatory uncertainty, which, when you look back at the time, regulators were taking action against Coinbase, Ripple, staking, lending, learn programs, etc. It was an extremely risky environment, so we had to pause the concept until things were certain. Which is really interesting because we never had any real explanation as to why they dipped out, right, so to speak. There was obviously speculation, right? Tim pointed out, right? Probably regulation. I also speculated that it could have been that they tried to implement, but that the state of things as they were back then were just not intuitive enough, right? For people, because I was one of the gateway testers. And it was not easy, and it was clunky, and it was just not ready for mass adoption, mass production. And then also, obviously, there was the Oracle and Amazon and a lot of other things and bits going on and moving parts, which could also be a fair reason, right? If they wanted to, because they're agile, they wanted to focus on something with higher priority, like a wee client like Oracle, that would take up a lot of resources, and then trying to get a community gateway off the ground or a community OVN would not simply make any sense in that case. But
no.
Yeah, go Tim.
Yeah, but it's so okay, Carlo Colista wasn't that off. It was Carlo Colista, right? The Colista thing in the past, where he said that, well, we kind of scrapped gateways. And then Gilbert came in and he said, well, gateways were never, they're still in the pipeline, but it's just not now. So there's kind of a middle ground between there, and this clears a bit up. That was mainly because of regulatory uncertainty. I paraphrase it a bit, but I think I'm
yeah, for sure,
correct.
For sure.
Right.
No, well, there was also this. I hope LinkedIn gets purged. Difficult. $20 Pizza says you communicated that clearly at the time, so I don't understand why some people are still so weird about it. I cannot remember that there were clear in the communications back then, but that could have been me. Maybe I just repressed the memories. Could very well be the case. So my response to Gilbert's message was, love the wording here, very much in line with the recent update to the terms of service, which we just went through. And then Robin comes with the pass, and it states, are there still plans for community gateway / staking? Gilbert not directly responded, but replied in the message after that. But we've kept working on the idea in the background. So now, after getting regulatory and legal clarity, we will be introducing different forms of staking and rewards to encourage even more participation on Overledger platform and ecosystem. Some of you noticed changes to the terms and conditions recently. Okay. So this is the goal, right? The money shot. After getting regulatory and legal clarity, we will be introducing different forms of staking and rewards to encourage even more participation on Overledger platform and ecosystem. Some of you noticed the changes to the terms and conditions recently. This edition was pretty cool and good for my ego. And this will be really, really good for our wallet eventually, and even now. Because there were so many people who's like, yeah, gateways are never coming, and and so on, and no, it's a security, and the SEC will deem it a security, blah blah blah. Well, here we are, and GG to Gilbert and the team. Absolutely. Nothing has changed, and this unleashed a hyper decentralized supercomputer and network. That's one of my favorite Gilbert quotes of all time. I think I also put that screenshot somewhere here, right? Will there be community gateways? This was Gilbert's dream. This aged really well as well, by the way. You can then combine Overledger gateways with blockchain nodes to process services and transactions. The whole thing has got together very nicely, and it's a thing of beauty. Technically speaking, a hyper decentralized supercomputer and network. This is just fucking prophecy, and beautiful news. Muzzy says, absolutely incredible as always. Gilbert said, thank you, Robin, Jarno, Muzzy. We've never deviated from a 2018 approach. And that is also in line with what we've been saying here at the Quamfy Show for what, fucking 2.5, 3 years?
Yeah.
If there's no news, nothing changed. Just because they don't rehash everything ad nauseum doesn't mean that it changed. And here you see it again, right? They just kept working on that in the background, and it just got shelved, and it never got shredded. Muzzy also casually crushing the naysayers on the Saturday and giving some awesome intel. Gilbert, just to close it off. So the one person with the following account: Castio Burglar, Darren J, and Follow Lawaki. Apologies from me for not spending as much time as I used to on X and Telegram. This is just, I mean, it is hilarious, isn't it?
kind of
somebody
is.
that builds
Yeah.
a company like this, call him out for not being on X and Telegram. It's beautiful, and it's that was the last of it. So it was in chat for about 30 minutes. Yeah, FUD busting again, which is also, if you ask me, right, I gotta give that to the skeptics or the critics. A little bit of a pity, because they actually kind of got what they wanted, right? But yeah, there is no way, I think, to not address stuff like that as being a CEO of a company, and you're actually legit and keep people calm with those types of claims. The downside is that, well, if you negotiate with terrorists, they're going to keep coming, right? You pay the ransom once, they'll be coming again and again and again. But yeah, your hands are tied. And that's why, quote unquote, terrorism is so powerful, which is sad. But yeah, we got some really great news. For once, we analyzed some documents well. We speculated in the right direction, and exciting times, right? Gateways. Everybody was waiting for those, right? And for the people that do not know what gateways are, so I'm gonna try and do this under a minute. Maybe we can actually make a short out of this and just keep yapping. So what are remote connector gateways? The remote connector gateway is a means to connect Overledger in the form of an Overledger network, right? Gateway operators can have a VPS or a home computer, whatever they want. They can put the gateway software on there, and those can be used to relay messages on the network. That was the original plan. You can lock up QNT in your gateway as a quote unquote stake. And together with that stake, as well as some other game theory features, right? Like different blockchain nodes or your reputation on the network and so on. That establishes a certain rank for your gateway, and that leads to the amount of traffic that you're going to get on that network. Everybody uses your gateway. They have to pay you a fee for the service you provide. So it's not technically staking. You're providing a service like a toll booth, and that's how you can earn QNT, which is super interesting because QNT has no inflation. There's no inflation. All tokens are minted in the circulation, meaning that all your profits are not diluted. Is that under a minute?
I think so.
Probably not. Yeah, you wanted to add something to that, Tim?
No.
You always say no, but you always start talking. Spill the beans, brother.
No, it's just I have timestamps.
Timestamps are important.
Yeah.
While I'm talking, Tim usually makes notes, takes notes, and then it is easier for editing, and it's also easier for you to find certain topics, which you can find at the bottom, where you can also find the comment section, the like button, and the subscribe button, and our BYBIT affiliate link. Help us out.
Yes. I always have a bit of mixed feelings when I see this happening in Telegram. I think it's been a really long while. I'm not even sure. I mean, if you would look at Gilbert's messages, I wouldn't even know the last time he was in the chat. You can actually look this up.
2 years ago.
I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it was one of our predictions. It was one of our predictions.
Right.
It happened.
Yes. It happened.
You won.
It happened.
Congratulations. Wow. Oh, wait, let's start with an applause. Actually, you won. I didn't predict Gilbert to get back on Telegram anymore, but it happened.
Yeah.
You won, and it actually spoke to you, which is even more.
I finally did it. I had to send well over 100 messages on LinkedIn to get him here.
Oh,
just to make our predictions come true.
Okay. Yeah, I was Luwaki.
That'd be something, right? That'd be something that we've been spreading the shit on LinkedIn.
The amount of dedication we put into this show. Just give us a like, people. Come on.
To get Gilbert on Telegram, so we can have actually one prediction correct for the entirety of 2024.
Exactly. Yeah, that we at least get one thing right. No, but
oh man.
No, but I always have a bit of mixed feelings with this because on the one hand, it's great that Gilbert is on Telegram, and it's also nice that the price kind of reacts immediately to it. So as soon as he gets back, people trust it again. Like, everyone kind of seems to regain their trust in the project and the course that we're in. On the other hand, I always feel like I get this like mixed feeling of, okay, I see promises, and at least not these aren't necessarily promises, but like I see a kind of reaffirmation. But how will it actually play out? Because we've seen this before where they said, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and we didn't really get any follow-up. Or maybe we got a follow-up, but it wasn't as clear as they kind of put it on Telegram, you know? So I was like, I'm always a bit skeptical when I read this. Like, sure, you didn't really deviate the course from 2018, but how fast will you actually be able to implement it? You don't know. And that's where the hype kind of tends to fade away again. You know, it's always a tight line.
I agree. I agree, right? This is just words on Telegram, but what is really important and I mean, what you see from Gilbert right here now in chat, I can actually testify to from IRL communications with him. As he's a super polite gentleman of a human, right? He's like everything you expect, polite, kind, curious, interested, and so on. But he is also ridiculously merciless, and I cannot go into detail. But when it comes to business, right, and quote unquote protecting his baby, his company, and this is all positive, but he'll go to extreme lengths to protect his baby and what he is building, and I think that's a very powerful combination, right? Being like a real people person.
It's really tactful.
Yes, but like I said, he's also vicious and merciless when it comes to protecting Overledger and Quant Network, his interest. And I actually learned that from multiple situations, both where I was involved and wasn't involved, but spoke with others, and that actually made me more bullish, because he is great in just person-to-person interactions and communicating and just the networking side of things, right? So he's not like a sociopath or a psychopath, but he can flip the switch and burn whatever is in his way to reach his goal, protect what is his. But he can also mend fences afterwards and then shake hands and have bygones be bygones. Again, I cannot go into details, but people live and learn, and people make mistakes, and so he's not vindictive, but he is vicious, and he's a true gentleman. And to me, it's just like this, right? There's no lying, right? There's no how do you say? I don't want to call it no hidden agendas, but there's no malicious intent, right? If he says he's got to do something, he's got to do something, and if he's gonna not do something anymore, he will communicate, right? There's this, what's the word? Gentleman-like. I'm looking for the word.
Honesty.
Yeah.
He's
it's
genuine.
not necessarily honesty. Yeah. Oh, it's.
No, I see what you mean. It's trustworthy. Yeah.
I can't find the words. Put it in the comments. Help me out here.
I wouldn't even know in Dutch. He's kind of reliable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, it is what it is. Anyway, this was awesome news. Right? Gateway's coming, staking is coming. What will it look like? When will it come? We do not know yet. But we also had another update, and that was today. By the way, the TLDR for the conversation with Gilbert, you can find it on X anywhere, but I prefer you go to my or the Quamfy shows and give us a like and a sub and a follow and all that juice, which is great. And then this afternoon, was it morning? Yeah, it was 1 p.m. CET. Mosef came into chat. Based. That's what we are at overledger.com. What overledger.com? And yes, there is now an overledger.com, and the link is in the description. And my tweet was, what the fuck? When did this happen? And obviously we're going to be talking about that now. Did you know, Tim?
I didn't. I also never tried, actually.
No, exactly.
For the lack of interest. It is a very obvious thing to try, but
yeah,
nobody seemed to bother.
Am I not sharing my screen? I wasn't sharing my screen. Oops. Yeah. So okay, my X lol, and then here we are. The enterprise standard for building on blockchain. This is an if I go to Quant, usually when you click on this logo, you go back to home. Is Quant.network then now forwarding to this? Let me check that. Quant.network. Okay, that's still here. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, so they now have both Quant.network and overledger.com. When you click on Quant, it just leads back to this website again. I thought it would lead to Quant.network, but it doesn't. And so this is dedicated to Overledger platform. As you can remember, for our loyal followers, thank you. We dissected that a bunch of episodes back. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description. Because there was this transition from being Quant Connect to Overledger platform, where they added the entire suite of all these different things, right, with Zapier and Make and so on. And this is new. Overledger is built for any case on any chain, featuring plug-and-play simplicity, easy integration, code-free engines, innovation, comprehensive support, security and speed, multi-chain access. Discover Overledger today. Open a free account and start with 2 testnets and full feature access. Register in minutes via Quant Connect, our user portal. And then they got the why Overledger, proven track record, expertise, use case agnostic. With Overledger, interoperability is just the start. And then they go on with tokenizing, bridging, authorizing, and hosting. Hosting is new, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what hosting means.
Test your ideas with privacy. Secure, scalable, easy. Learn how to develop your ideas with enhanced privacy. Integrate blockchain into your business today. And then they have these pricings, which are in dollars, ironically, for a British company. And explore the future. They got the YouTube up and running again. Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1. Easy app deployment, invoking smart contract functions, and so on. Yeah, so they
go
decided,
from Episode 1 to Episode 3 and more.
Yeah, Part 1, Part 2, app interoperability, easy app deployment. Interesting. Yeah.
Where's Episode 2?
Leaked? Maybe under YouTube, could be
explicit.
I know, because
content.
This is Episode 3, Part 2. Could be that they just prioritize this because this is more eye-catching. I don't know. Maybe they did
Weird.
it intentionally, so we go look on their YouTube. We'll get there in a bit. But yeah, so they have their Overledger showcase, which leads to their YouTube, which was also a big part of the criticism back then, which was obviously obsolete data that was on there. And if we go to playlists, the Overledger showcase, you go to the entire playlist. They have 14 episodes. Here they are. Season 1 introduction. Then you go to Season 1, Episode 1, Part 2, Season 1, Episode 1, Part 3, Part 4, and then you go to Season 1, Episode 2, Part 1, Part. So they're all there.
Okay.
Up until Episode 4, Part 2. They're an average of like, 6 minutes video. Go have a look if you're interested. 1 video on digital currencies, 2 event videos, 3 on quant news, 12 videos on quant products, and 10 on CBDCs, which is pretty cool. It means that they have quite a lot of videos on there right now. Look at that. We haven't been here in a bit. And a lot of videos with Dominic from, what is that, Future of Finance? Which is pretty cool. Maybe we should get Gilbert on the show. Ooh, that gave me butterflies. Maybe in the future. Talks about the RLN.
If that happens,
pricing.
we quit the Quamfy Show afterwards. You need to stop at the highest point.
That will be the summit. Yeah.
That will be the summit. You need to stop after the summit.
Yeah. So they now have a separate website from the original website just for Overledger platform. I think it makes sense because this is more of a landing page for maybe journalists or potential customers or people that want a lot of information. And if you want to redirect people to the products and let them sign up, might as well make a separate URL. I think that makes sense. Which is pretty cool. This is, by the way, also the website where you can find the terms and conditions. We have obviously the FAQ, where you can find a lot also about the token. Yeah, exactly. So they also answered the question, what happened to the Quant Medium, YouTube, and Vimeo channels? In 2022, we rationalized our communications channels to make our website a single source of information about Quant. Single source of information. I think that was a single source of truth, wasn't it?
I don't know.
They nuanced a bit. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. That they separated those things now. Here you can also find utility tokens. Right, and then explicitly, what is that zoom? It's probably me. Yeah, I messed that up.
It's funny that I didn't really consider anything that's on their website. Because at this point, I just assume everything is okay. I didn't really look at it anymore, but it's all explicitly on the website, guys.
Yeah,
actually read up on it.
Yeah. There is literally a ton of information on there, and I would encourage everybody to dive in and see what you can learn. How long are we into this episode, Tim?
45 minutes.
45
almost.
Yeah, so
a bit less, roughly 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, the big question is, are we going to dive deeper or are we going to move on?
I think we're going to move on. I think we've kind of touched upon the main quant updates right now. Sure, we can go deeper, but
yeah, there's no
in
point
general,
right now because we have no.
Touched...
Yeah, we have no more factual information. I mean, we can go deeper and dive into the speculation part or really drill down on
yeah,
what
exactly. But
then
we enter that stage, what we talked about earlier tonight, where we were discussing whether a certain network was actually on Overledger, and we kind of deduct that it's the
Deduced.
case. Yeah, but it's not. But that's not the case, right? It doesn't list it anywhere.
Yeah.
But we kind of assume that it's going on, but it's not going on. So sometimes you just need to stick with the factual information that you actually have.
Yeah. So now we're diving into the degeneracy of things.
And then we can finally dive into our beautiful degeneracy. Yeah.
Yeah. So we made portfolios in H1. We now also made portfolios for H2. Let's see what's going on here, because Tim H1 portfolio right now is still down 22% overall.
It's not too bad. I was down 50% last episode.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Your uni is...
That's only 7 days ago.
Yeah, your uni's doing well. Your Ampleforth is doing better.
Wait a second. This is the H1 portfolio, right?
This is the H1 portfolio. Yeah.
But we need to look at the H2 one.
No, but I also wanted to look at H1 a bit, because I'm still decimated. I'm still minus 7,000. Because Neon, and Check D. But yeah, Tau is picking up again. 250 euros. Yeah, so our H2 portfolios for Tim.
Oh yeah, I'm decimated.
Tim's H1 portfolio is doing better than his H2 one. Yeah, so we started off with 10k again, euros. Tim is still down 47.2%. Yeah, Open is still struggling. Right, the former Get.
Get.
Yeah, there seems to be potentially some recovery going on. We'll have to see. Jarno H2. I'm also down.
Even worse.
Yeah, 53%. My QNT is mooning. And YOYO seems to be kind of doing something. I don't know. But yeah, Check D, Open, Higher, and Degen are all. Feels like reversal should be around the corner. And I know this has been said by everybody for the last God knows how long. But we should be there. And
I feel like in general, and this is, you might want to go towards the Bitcoin short, and then sure, these were our own portfolios based on what we felt was right just before summer started. But I feel like when I talk with like the more general audience, so like the randos, you know, the random people who are also in the crypto market. Actually, one of my colleagues today started about Bitcoin, and she didn't know that
because
I was in
Bitcoin
crypto.
is pumping, bro. Look at that. The last 24 hours, it's up like 3,000. If you had like 10 Bitcoin, you made a year's salary. Zooms out to 1 year.
Okay, but let's not make fun of my colleagues. But like in general, I feel like when I just talk to random people on the street, or at least in my environment, who don't necessarily know what I'm doing with crypto, I feel like there's this general consensus, indeed, which kind of lines up what you've been saying and what you've been talking about, and what the guys at Real Vision are talking about, and that is like the liquidity, like the what's it called, like the liquidity cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that we are kind of leaving the boring zone behind and entering the next stage, and that's also kind of what I get. But the general feeling that I get when I talk with people about crypto, and they don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just hearing what people think. But there's this general idea that Bitcoin will do pretty well in the coming time, between now and 2026.
Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of stuff for the coming year, right? I'm not as bearish as a lot of people are right now, right? I spoke to a bunch of other intelligent people that also kind of follow crypto-ish, but when I tell them that I feel everything is going to recover in the coming months, then the only response that I get is, yeah, you've been saying that it will happen for God knows how long. And I'm trying to convince them, yeah, okay, but right, I said that, but the point where that was going to happen is actually what we're approaching right now. the previous bunch of months, we quote unquote knew it was going to be garbage. But they just lost faith altogether, right? They lost all confidence, all trust. And that is what I still sense when I look around on the social platforms, in my environment. Nobody gives a damn about crypto or investing or any of that. It's just something that they saw, they learn about it, maybe they dabbled, then they saw it die, and to them it's now dead, and it will never recover again. It's kind of like if you buy a jacket, everybody's like, dude, you need to get that brand. That stuff is the best. It's waterproof, it's windproof, and blah 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 blah. And then they buy it, and then they wear it, and then it gets dirty, and then they need to wash it, and they wash it, and they're just not happy with it anymore because nobody told them that it could get dirty, and they're never getting that brand ever again. And that's what humans, and that's what human psychology is like, right? We all have these expectations, and we only hear the upsides when the getting is good, and we forget about all the risks, and then the risk happened to us, and then it is just garbage, and people are disappointed in themselves, in the markets, etc. And then when you meet them like 3.5 years, 4 years later, it's like, yo, dude, did you get a bunch of those coats again? And like, no, man, they got dirty. Like, what? Right? And that's how it is. People are like, yeah, burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. Something like that. So people are just not interested until Bitcoin will cross the. Well, I think it will cross the 100K. I think that's not out of the realm of possibilities, and a lot of people will come in again because then Bitcoin is fantastic again, and same with crypto, and they'll just repeat the same mistakes as always.
It was a really fun conversation I had today at my work. I mean, it wasn't necessarily serious, but like someone was showing me the fact that XRP was going to hit $18 in the future, and that's or at least I think $10 or $18, and that Cardano was going to hit $10 or something. It's like, yeah, I'm zoning out at this point.
Well,
it's still the general, like how most people feel about crypto.
$10. So that's like that's like a 20x for XRP.
Yeah, it was or was $18, something like that. One of the two.
Yeah, okay. So that's a 20x for XRP.
Yeah, which is
so that's 20 times 30. That's 600 billion market cap.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable, but I don't think.
Yeah, I mean they do have like what 2 million idiots, 2 million holders. So
it's not unthinkable, right? But that is they really
it is one of the most realistic XRP predictions I have heard.
That's true. That's true.
It is actually pretty conservative if you look at some of the lunacy.
I don't want to disrespect my colleague, but in general, it's kind of how most people feel about crypto. They really don't know what they're doing. They really don't know what they're talking about. They really don't grasp the concepts. They just throw in a couple of €100. And I think the vast majority of people do it.
Which is fine.
Completely fine, right?
But if you're then talking to somebody that is more or less seasoned, or at least somebody that actually puts their face and their name on the internet and talks about the crypto, right? I mean, as far as you can be an authority on something, I should at least listen to some of the nuances, maybe that the other people. But yeah, great.
No, absolutely, but I feel like that is still kind of illustrative for how crypto markets work in general. Like, just have retail not knowing what they're doing, more and more parties coming in which actually know what they're doing, and everyone getting caught up in between that fire, right?
Yeah, and retail, aka liquidity providers.
Exactly, and at some point it will run again, and nobody really knows the reason, but we're all going to believe that narrative. And if that narrative now is that after Q4 we will do well, then that is going to be the narrative. And I don't really care. I just need money. But I kind of tend to believe that we're all Paul and the guys at Real Vision are seeing this correctly. I hope, at least. And if you kind of can align that with positive developments with Quant itself, that's an even better scenario, because even just Gilbert on Telegram is already positive. Can you imagine when actual things come out? Because everyone got kind of really skeptical, right? Everyone said, yeah, okay, but we got all this news, but nothing happens to the price. But then a simple CEO just coming into Telegram and telling everyone that everything is okay and we already pumped 20%.
Yeah, but
can you imagine the scenes when things actually come out?
Yeah, for sure. But the thing with stuff like this, right? It's like in a conflict with somebody. As soon as somebody starts screaming, yelling at each other, that is like the as hard as it can get. And after that, you have nothing else, right? In the business relationship or on in the workplace, as soon as somebody needs to resort to yelling or screaming, that's like the last tool you have. And after that, it's done. That's the last resort. And a CEO coming into a chat to do this, if he comes like every week now, it doesn't have the effect anymore. Does that make sense?
Oh, true. Yeah.
I maybe gave a little bit of a bad example in this case, but
no, you're giving a perfect example.
It's
out of it was out of the blue in this case. Nobody expected it.
Yeah. And the news he gave was good and it was powerful. And all the nerves are now settled again, right? Gilbert confirmed
for the time being.
For the time being. For as long as it lasts. Because people have really short memories, right? And there's always new people coming in. There's a lot of disbelief and so on. So people will forget again, and then they'll be reminded again. But I think this, right? This was the hot topic, the gateways and the staking part of it. I mean, truth be told, even I didn't expect that Gilbert would just come out and blatantly say that now that we have regulatory clarity, we will be offering staking and earning options. It just
no, I didn't.
I was just sitting there flabbergasted, and it just denial, right? Denial. I actually went back again to his profile to check if it was actually Gverdian and I wasn't just talking to some hacker or bot or something like that. But yeah, this was literally the holy grail. And we spoke about that, I think, a while back, right? What would be the necessary, what would be a catalyst to get price action and sentiment back? And then we said, okay, so everybody's that is on the sideline right now is waiting for one or a few things. One is a green candle. The other one is Gilbert in chat and or gateways or staking being announced. And if you ask me, I think the reaction to the staking news is actually a little bit lukewarm. Even it's not even hot. I expected a lot more if that happened. Could still be coming because people are still very, very carefully testing the waters, right? If you look at markets right now on the 24-hour, Bitcoin is up 5%, Ethereum 3.5%, 5% for BNB, 4.8% for Solana, XRP 2.8%. So there is green across the board, right, on the 24 hours. Arguably QNT leading the charge. I saw a chart yesterday, right, with the bubbles, and it was like everywhere was red. It was one big green QNT bubble, right, dead center of it.
Like the good old days where we beat the market.
Yeah, and it could very well be that Quant, in this case, that price did inspire some confidence left and right, and that things are now picking up. We'll have to see. One of the biggest risk factors and downsides for current markets is that there's so much dilution, right? if you throw in 1 trillion right now, you have to like divide it over arguably 2 million coins. Yeah, that's not a lot to go around. And eventually it will all go up into the pyramid, so to speak. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think this type of news has to cement a little bit. But a lot of people on the sidelines right now, they're paying attention again, I think, because one of the biggest criticisms of Quant, oh shit, didn't even speak about that. But one of the biggest criticisms was there's no way of earning passive income, and everybody wants that, obviously. What we didn't even get into is that most crypto projects that offer staking do not offer real yield, right? A lot of crypto projects, exchanges, etc., when they have a staking program, you put a certain amount of tokens in their staking, whatever, it's like a magic machine, and you get tokens in return. And it seems like it is free money, but it's not, because it's just inflation, right? It's dilution of the supply. A lot of tokens have infinite supplies or massive supplies of tokens, meaning that if you earn like a 5% yield on a yearly basis or whatever, but they print 10% of the supply in a year, what are you actually earning, right?
Yeah, you don't really,
huh?
You don't necessarily earn anything, because
no, you just
increasing as well. So
yeah, you just get diluted. And a lot of exchanges don't really offer yield per se. I mean, you get like 1%, 2%, 3%, but in the meantime, your tokens are not your tokens. You need to lock them for a certain time so they can then lend them to others so that they can pay you a bit, and they earn like fucking 3 ways, and you're none the wiser, because in the meantime, inflation is also getting. What distinguishes Quant is that all 14,880,612, from the top of my head, something like that, tokens are all unlocked. They're all in circulation. And that means that with the staking you do for Quant, it's not staking. You earn a fee for the service that you provide. That means that if I use Overledger Network, I use Tim's or the Quamfy Show gateway. How does the gateway get paid? I pay them for the privilege and the service of using their gateway. That is the idea. So where does the yield for your gateway come from? It is literally income from the bandwidth and the compute that you provide. This means that the returns, the yearly returns, will not be was that APY 10% or some stupid stuff like that. It will be a lot. Sorry, yeah, my headset's empty. I just got notified. But the yield will be way lower, but it will be real yield. So if you earn 1 QNT, you actually earned 1 QNT, right? There's no dilution. There's no inflation or any stuff like that, which is really, really super powerful. And we speculated really briefly in the Quamfy Lounge to which projects or crypto, whatever, with a fixed supply, with everything circulating, actually has staking. And the answer is nobody knew. Not even Bitcoin has everything circulating. That will take until 2136, if I remember correctly, until everything is circulating. And in the meantime, yes, Bitcoin price goes up and the rewards keep dripping in, so you still get your reward, but it is technically still inflation and dilution.
Yeah,
which
there's
is
practically no harder assets than QNT.
Sorry?
There might be some. There is practically no harder assets than QNT.
Yeah.
So there might be other crypto projects which also have a fixed supply, but there are very few of them with so much fundamental like FA behind it and a fixed supply. It is really where, and we cannot overstate the importance of it. It's one of the main reasons I'm here, if not the main reason I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting times coming up. No inflation, staking coming. Gilbert confirmed this. Bull run imminent, based on obviously liquidity cycle, elections, Bitcoin halving, and people just being sheer greedy idiots, and we cannot live without gambling, which is also a factor. But yeah, exciting news, exciting weeks. I think it was a cool episode. Check out our sponsor, BYBIT. Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, follow us on our socials. All the links are in the description of the video. Leave a thumbs up, leave an emoji in the comments. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Tim, do you have anything to add?
No, not really any final remarks. Really curious to see how we will be doing in 2 weeks' time during the next English episode. But in the meantime, stay quampy.
Stay quamfy.